Hey everybody, it's me. It's Lonk the Sane. Good to see you all once again. Today is a new day. Today is going to be the very first episode ever of Ladder Thursday. Well, technically it's just Ladder Time 2.0, but you get the idea. New name, new start, new me. So, this is a deck that I put together a couple days ago. If you recall, last week I did a budget version of Red Green for Casual Tuesday. I just figured, you know what? Let's go full on competitive with this. Let's try a competitive Red Green deck, Red Green Midrange. And let's go through the list real quick. There's 2 of the Extract Life, 3 Ignition, 2 Strigoi Pup, 2 Daring Trapezist, 1 Ichor Feast, 2 of the Shopworn Bull, 2 of the Cyclopean Giants, 1 Oak of Dodana, 2 Wings of Abaddon. Gee, I wish I could have 4 in here. 1 Gigantomachia, 2 of the Magmatar, and the 7 Ring Ritual. With green, these cards should all look fairly familiar as well. We have 3 Grinning Kolobok, 1 Wake the Bones, 2 Detained, 3 Raid the Tombs, 1 Baba Yaga's Den, 1 Bila Witch Queen, 2 Night Hag, 2 Volkov Heavy, 1 Trader's Murmur, 1 Tort Stag, 1 Iku Turso, and of course, because we're playing Red-Green, we're going to play Fated Firebird because this card is sweet. So, what is this deck doing? Essentially, this deck is just a pile of red-green good stuff, and, sometimes that may sound like an insult, but it's really not. Sometimes you just play a bunch of good cards together, good things will happen. Basically, what our plan is in the early game, we have the Ignition, we have Strigoi Pup, we have Daring Trapezist, we also have, on green side, we have the Baba Yaga's Den, to kind of keep our opponent's aggressive minions under control, to keep them from getting underneath us and doing too much damage too quickly. When we get to the mid-game, then we have our Cyclopean Giants, we have the Wings of Abaddon, we also have, of course, the Volkov Heavy. Those are, our big heavy hitters there in the middle that can do some damage to the opponent. And then, of course, when we get into late game, we just have, our Iku Turso, Short Stag, and the 7 Ring Ritual, which can finish off the opponent. And not to forget, in the mid game too, the Fated Firebird, dance around our opponent's minions, deal some damage. So, and that's basically how the deck wins. Don't let the opponent's deck get underneath you. Get to your bigger stuff and just start outclassing their minions as soon as possible. I mean, ideally, we want to have a Grinning Kolobok in our opening hand to ramp our mana as quickly as possible. But even when we don't, this deck has still felt pretty good. And along with those, we have some really nice tempo plays coming from green. We have 2 of the Detained. We have Bila the Witch Queen, which can stun our opponent's minions. And we are playing a fair number of spells. We're playing 15 spells, so her +2 to make our spells cost less is not irrelevant either. And then there's a couple Night Hags, which are basically the green version of Meso Libre. We can, lock down our opponent's minions until it leaves the battlefield. And that's basically how this deck works. Red's going to add a bit of removal with the Extract Life and the Ignitions. And of course, Oak of Dodana in here. It's surprisingly good value out of it. We don't have the full suite of rush minions like some other red decks do, but even still, we're going to be crashing our minions into the opponents a lot, so we still get good value out of the Oak as well. And Gigantomachia is a nice removal spell in here too. We want to be a little careful with it because we are playing some larger minions, but this is generally a card you don't play when you're ahead. It's one when you're trying to play catch up. This can mow down the opponent's side of the board, let you catch up more quickly. So that's basically the deck, and we're going to dive into the games, and after we get into the games, we'll come back here. I'll share my thoughts on it afterwards, and we'll see how the deck does. Alright, Dread Runner is our opponent, and we have a Grinning Kolobok, so that's always a good sight to see. Okay, looks like we might be taking on a fairly aggressive deck here, so Scout Kolobok. Start ramping quickly. Pass the turn. And we don't have anything to do next turn, which is unfortunate. I think we'll just burn the Extract Life. Then turn after that, Gigantomachia, Shopworn Bull. So hopefully our opponent doesn't have too fast to start here. Alright, that's a Frecky Scout. They're going to play that on their enchantment. We're just going to keep hopping around with Kolobok. Hopefully we'll ramp up quickly. Ooh, Bila's a... interesting. Let's get in. And then... do I burn the other Raid the Tombs? No, I still think I want the Shopworn Bull on turn 3, so Extract Life can go. I don't have anything to do on turn 2. So I'll pass the turn. I mean, I could detain that Frecky Scout, but I don't think there's too much point. Firestorm Prodigy, so it looks like blue, a red, aggro. Lemia's Kiss, okay. So, fortunately, we have Ignitions in the deck to handle such a situation. So, I'm going to burn the other Raid the Tombs. And I'm just going to Ignition that. So, adios. Pass the turn. Then hopefully I can get the Cyclopean Giant out soon. By soon I mean next turn. We'll hop over with this Kolobok. I think I just put the Kolobok over in front of the Valkyrie Tough. Have it act as a blocker. Then we put out Cyclopean Giant. Pass the turn. So hopefully they'll attack in the Kolobok. We'll ramp up 2 mana. Things are looking good. That's a Frecky Huntress. That's Magnus. So we'll take 4 from the whatchamacallit, but opponent's not challenging. Actually, our opponent just did us a favor, because now our toughness is under 3. We can just wipe the board with Gigantomachia and it won't affect Cyclopean Giant. So let's get in for 7. Start pounding away. Pass the turn. There's a Frecky Scout. There's a Huntress. Not respecting the Cyclopean Giant at all. Huh. So, let's get in for 7 more on the opponent. Then let's play... I think we can do Bila and we can do the Oka Dodana. So let's play Bila, the Witch Queen.
There are always consequences.
And we'll have her stun. Do I want the Huntress or the Scout? I think we just want the Huntress, actually. And then we can play out our Shopworn Bull. Ignition? Sure. The Heavy can go back in. And we'll pass the turn. I mean, Ignition can zap something that's in our way. I just kind of want to keep the lane clear in front of our Cyclopean Giant, who's doing a ton of damage. Alright, Storm Daughter's chosen. Not too worried. Trace Murmur, that's Baba Yaga's Den. And we have lethal. So our opponent not respecting our aggressive play here. I mean, we were trying to stay aggressive. Our opponent kept playing stuff away to try and outrace us, and it was just not a race they were ever going to win. So Cyclopean Giant is awesome, man. Like, it's tough to take down, and you really need the lane ahead of it clear, but this is a deck that plays a good control game. And the reason why I stunned that Frecky Scout was to keep it from moving, because as Swift, it could potentially hop over and block our Cyclopean Giant from being able to get in for damage. But once we stunned it... so yeah, our opponent actually kind of helped us out there when it damaged our Giant, because we were able to Gigantomachia their side of the board. So yeah, we outraced an aggro deck with this mid-range, and impressive. Liked it. Okay, DJ Eggnog is our opponent. And we don't have the the Kolobok to start out, but we do have a Strigoi Pup, so I think we can burn the Cyclopean Giant. Kind of sad about that, but alright, let's put out Strigoi Pup.
Let's feed.
Next turn, we'll probably burn the Trader's Murmur, and then we'll zap anything they put in front of
Reporting.
this pup. Alright. We'll burn Trader's Murmur. Play our Ignition. Gazap. Get in for 2. Pass the turn. Always nice to be able to gain that little bit of life at the beginning of the match. Next turn, might have to burn. We'll see what the opponent does. Alright, Parcel Recruit.
Let's feed.
So I think I'm going to burn the Heavy, because I'm going to play out the Baba Yaga's Den. And unfortunately, we'll have to make this trade. But we'll put Baba Yaga's over here. That should slow down their aggression a little bit. And hopefully we draw a red card next turn. That way we can get the Shop-Worn Bull going. He's a nice big blocker too. I haven't faced red-orange mid-range with this deck yet, so I'm very curious to see how it does.
Come in.
Alright, that's the Shop-Worn Bull. Okay, this Trapezist. That's a Grinning Kolobok. So let's take out this Strigoi Pup. Now they could probably 2-for-1 it next turn. Maybe, possibly. Or not, it wouldn't be 2-for-1. Shop-Worn Bull would live, but I wouldn't be surprised if they crashed Trapezist into it. That's fine with me if they do that. But... alright, do I just burn the Trapezist here? I think so. I think we burn Trapezist. Play out the Bull. See what we get. We get another Trapezist. Yeah, we'll put Kolobok back in the deck. And I will pass the turn. So let's see if they want to crash something into that Baba Yaga's Den to take it out. If they don't, I'm just going to heal it up. Activate its ability. We got 2 cards in the Boneyard. Might be a good turn to raid the tombs a little bit. Alright, do you have a follow-up? Firesong Prodigy. Yep, so they're just going to ignition it. Makes sense. Okay, that's a heavy. First thing first, Shopborn Bull. Let's see what we get. Wings of Abaddon. Do I keep that? I think so. But I think the tombs can go... This deck is fairly new, so I'm not sure the ins and outs of it yet, but I think maybe Detained can go back. I think I do want to raid the tombs still. We'll get in for 2. Play out Trapezist. Take out this. We'll raid the tombs. So there goes the Ignition and Strigoi Pup. Nothing I'll really want to bring back later on anyway. So we get another Bull. We get another Wings. Okay. Let's pass the turn. We've got options next turn. We can burn the Shopworn Bull, and then we can play out our Wings, or we can play out the Heavy. I mean, I think maybe I just plop the Heavy in front of that Shopworn Bull. I mean, they'll have to 2-for-1 the Heavy to get rid of it. And there's a to heaven and back. Okay, Shopworn Bull's not the worst thing to have in front of it. So, let's draw a card, see what we get. Oak of Dodana. Yeah, I think I can abandon one of the wings. I'll keep the Oak. But I'm going to burn this Shopworn Bull. Play out the Heavy. You know what? We're winning this race, aren't we? So, I'm not too worried about that Shopworn Bull. I know it's going to keep card filtering, but we have filtering as well. I think we're in a pretty good place. I mean, if they don't challenge us with blockers, if they stay aggressive, there's a chance we could get in for 7-11 damage next turn. Put our opponent to 8. Plus, what are they getting back? A Strigoi Pup. That's fine. They get that back if we take out enough of their minions. We only need to take out 1 more. Journey of Souls kicks in. Okay, there's the Wings of their own. Not gonna kill the Heavy though. Because the Heavy has armor. It has armor 1, so if it matches what it says on the card, it's not going to destroy it. But they return their Shopworn Bull. Right, that's an Acre Feast. I think we just... Well, first things first, let's activate Shopworn Bull. Green Kolbach. That can go back in the deck. We're in summer, aren't we? We're going to draw 2 cards next turn. So you know what? I think Icar Feast can go back in the deck. Because I kind of want to burn this Kolobok. If we hit a Traitor's Murmur, then we can ramp up our life total. But for now, let's just bolt the Wings. Get in for 5. Put our opponent to 14. And then I think we just Oak of Dodana. And we'll say go. They want to attack around our Shopworn Bull. I mean, we're well ahead of the opponent. But we still got to be careful. They could still have Seven Ring Ritual. They could still have Armageddon Angel. So there's still stuff the opponent could do to kind of set us back here. But we're going to draw 2 next turn. potentially have lethal too. No, we don't. We have 5 plus 4, that's 9 plus 4, that's 13. If we get an ignition or something, we might have lethal. Or trapezist. I keep wanting to say flying trapezes, but they're not flying trapezes. They're daring trapezes. Alright, that's problematic. But we have Magmatar, so not as problematic as it could be. So let's just blow that up. For 5. Actually, let's draw a card first. Raid the tombs. I don't think we need that. We just hold on. Get in for 5. Get in for 4. And then we'll just sit tight. So we've played Oka Dodana, but it hasn't really done much for us, has it? We've got our opponents on the ropes. They're going to play the Chimera again. But hopefully we can get a lane. Okay, that's going to hurt a bit. But at least now they can't play out the Chimera, which would really clog up the board. Because we also have the Wings of Abaddon we can just swoop in with if we get an open lane. Opponent's thinking. Probably thinking, oops, should I have replayed the Chimera? Alright, the opponent takes 1. We gain 1. Okay, we'll deal another 1 to the opponent, and I think we just won this. There's no way they can block everything. We'll just swoop in with the wings and win. Oka Dodana helping us out. Opponent's looking to block. We don't have a lot of Russian here, but we've got a couple. Strigoi Pup. Not going to save him. So let's just swoop in and win this one. Good game, opponent. Wow. Yeah. This was the 4th game I've played with this deck, and so far I am 4-0 on the ladder. Made it to G5 with this. Red-green, I think this may be the real deal. All these games felt good. We beat an aggro deck. We beat the mid-range. I haven't had a control matchup with it yet, so I'm curious to see, but as you saw, once we got into the mid-game, we were just able to outvalue our opponent's minions. And yeah, I mean, Magmatar saved the day by clearing the Chimera. Wings of Abaddon swooping in for the win. And that was just an impressive showing from this deck. So, red-green mid-range. Got some really surprising results with this one. As I mentioned in that last match, I was 4-0 with this deck at the time. I've played a few more games since then, and this deck is now 8-2. I was not expecting this deck to win 80% of its matches, but here we are. Like I said, some really surprising results. This deck has felt really, really good so far. The 2 losses that I had, one was against a blue-green combo Reanimator. They got the Living Mountain out on turn 4. I drew kind of badly, and I punted on a couple of turns in that one. So, yeah, that one was on me. And the other loss was against a mono-red deck, which you don't see a whole lot of on ladder, but that deck just got off to such a blazingly fast start. I got completely run over before I had a chance to do anything. So, yeah, my hat's off to the mono-red deck. Against red-blue aggro, though, this deck is 2-0. And against red-orange mid-range, this deck is 3-0. 3-0 against red-orange mid-range. Like I said, this deck has put up some really surprising results. That's way better than I thought it would do. I figured, well, the 7-ring ritual will be a problem, but so far this deck has been able to finish off our opponents before they have a chance to even play it. And honestly, this deck just kind of outclasses the red-orange mid-range. Turns 4 or 5, we get our bigger, stompier minions out, and, they don't always have a great answer for it. So this deck, hasn't let red-orange run us over just yet. But, the only way we're going to find out if this deck is any good is to keep playing games with it. 10 games is a really small sample size, so we'll just have to keep plugging away with it. The concern I have for this deck going forward, I don't know how it's going to do against control decks. So far, I've only played one control deck, and it was somebody's really unique take on Peach Control. And it was one of my subscribers, actually, and you know who you are out there. But against Peach Control, this deck was able to win, but we haven't gone against, Aztec or Green-Yellow, which are the two most popular control decks out there on the ladder. So I don't know how this is going to do against control. Hopefully it'll be fast enough that I'll be able to win. One of the problems with this deck is we don't have any sweepers in it. So there's no Armageddon Angel. There's no Misanthropia to bail us out if our opponent takes control of the board. We have Gigantomachia, which is useful in some instances. But yeah, we'll have to see over time how this does against control. And the star of this deck, I have to give it to this guy right here, Mr. Cyclopean Giant. A lot of games just turn into play out Cyclopean Giant and then just keep a lane clear in front of them. Magnetar has been really good at doing that. And Wings of Abaddon has been really good at keeping the lane ahead of him clear as well. And, a lot of times when you can just keep bashing your opponent for 7 damage every turn, you tend to win pretty quickly. The card I would consider cutting in here is the Baba Yaga's Den. Don't know that it really is a good fit in this deck. I mean, we have a lot of stuff to deal with early aggression. We have the Ignitions, we have the Strigoi Pop, Sharpworn Bull. At 5 toughness is good to throw in some of the more aggressive minions. So I'm not sure Baba Yaga's Den is the most efficient card to put in here. Might consider cutting it, might throw in another Cyclopean Giant, or maybe go a little bit bigger, maybe do like a Philha Wind Fury or a Cerberus Unchained or something like that. But that'll be something to see going forward. But overall, red-green mid-range feels really good, does really well against the other mid-range deck. It's felt really good against aggro as well. Still not sure how it's going to do against control, but yeah, this is definitely one to try out, keep playing with, keep tinkering with, and I'll keep playing with this deck as long as it will let me. So if you guys want to try this deck out for yourself, I will leave a link in the description below. You guys can also follow me on Twitter. I will leave a link for that as well. As always, I appreciate it if you guys would like and subscribe to my channel. Always good to have new followers. And leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of the deck. Have you tried red-green before? What are your thoughts on it? Love to hear from you guys. Get some feedback. I will be back next week. We'll do another Casual Tuesday and another Ladder Thursday as well. So that's going to be it for me today. Thank you all for joining me, and I will see you guys next time.